It is time. MLB 23 is here. And we all want to do one thing. And it's get better at hitting. So that is what I am going to do. I am here to help you guys become a better hitter in MLB The Show. Right out of the gate, at the main menu, we are going to go all the way down to custom practice, okay? You could play against whoever you want. I picked the Texas Rangers. They have DeGrom. He throws 102 mile-an-hour fastballs, and outlier is one of the hardest pitches to hit. Okay, so in practice mode, there are a couple things that we can change to help us based on what we want to work on. If hitting is the goal, we go to practice type and we change it to batting. Okay, we can pick the pitcher we are facing and we can pick the batter that we want to use. For this instance, I want to face DeGrom because let's say I'm struggling to hit the 102 mile-an-hour fastballs. I'm going to use Trout because righty-righty is a lot harder for me than lefty-righty. You could switch that up for whatever your preference is. You could practice both. You could do it all. Let's say we're having trouble against that 102 mile-an-hour fastball out of DeGrom's hand. You can actually adjust it so that he only throws that fastball. So I'm going to increase the pitch frequency on four-seam fastball all the way up, and I'm going to lower the frequency for all of his other pitches. Okay? Now there's one more thing we can change before actually taking some swings. You can pick the location for the pitches. Okay, if we have trouble swinging at pitches out of the zone, then we might not want to force DeGrom to throw strikes. But if you feel like you have a pretty good eye, you can pick the exact location within the zone that he's going to throw the ball. I want to work on that up and in fastball. I'm going to pick the top left square in the strike zone, and then I'm going to start practice, okay? If you go to options and you go to gameplay, you can change the difficulty at which you're going to be playing on, okay? I changed this based on where I am with ranked seasons at the time, but I play a lot of Legend ranked. For this, I'm going to keep it on Hall of Fame because I've got a lot of games to win since MLB just came out before I get to Legend. Now, I apologize for all of the setup, but there are several different steps to take in order to put yourself in the best position to hit in this game. So if you checked out my settings video, I'll post it right here above the screen. If you check that video out, you'll see all of the settings that I put in the game, including my PCI, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail here as well. So if you go to control and you go to offense, okay, I keep my swing input on buttons and my hitting interface on zone. Highly recommend these. All of the best players use these. My personal favorite PCI is diamond center, no inner with outer reverb. I put it on 80% transparency with the color black so that I don't get distracted by it, and I'll show it to you guys in a second. Last but not least for the setup, we've got the hitting view. I highly recommend Strike Zone 2, or Strike Zone High for the hitting view. This gives you the best chance to read the pitch out of the hitter's hand because these are the camera angles that are closest to the pitcher. I prefer Strike Zone, and now we're ready to take some swings. So I'm not going to swing at the first few pitches, but as you can see, we have that outer reverb with the 3 lines, and we've got the 3 diamonds in the middle. There are 2 reasons I like this. One, that outer reverb gives me an idea for how wide the zone is while I'm moving my PCI throughout the at-bat. And then the small diamonds help me focus on something small so that I can aim small and miss small with the baseball. And now I already have the pitch location set up. I have the frequency of the pitch that's going to be thrown. I've got my settings adjusted. I'm ready to take some hacks. Even though I know exactly what pitch is coming and where it's going to be thrown, I don't want to cheat my PCI in that direction unless that's something I would do in the game. So I like to find something that works for me, a nice little routine I do pre-pitch, every single pitch that kind of just helps me lock in and get ready to hit. For me, that's doing a circle with the PCI and then slightly lowering it to the lower portion of the zone. I have a lot of trouble dropping my PCI straight down versus flicking up. Okay, so I do a circle or two, and then I lower my PCI, and then I'm ready to hit. And just like that, I didn't really cheat my PCI, and I was locked in on that baseball. Okay, but Like I said, I know what pitch is coming. I know it's going to be a fastball, but I'm still trying to pretend like I don't know it's going to be there. Okay, I'll take one more swing at a fastball. Okay, look at that. Some pretty solid swings, getting that center of the PCI right to the ball. Not slamming, but trying to just glide to that ball as best as I can. Let's say I'm amazing at hitting the fastball. I'm really not, I promise. Okay, but let's say I have trouble staying back and hitting the away slider. Perfect. Increase the frequency on the slider, lower it on the fastball, and here we go. There was an adjustment in this year's game where 50% of the outer PCI is reduced in online modes. So we really want to work on gliding our PCI to the spot instead of slamming back and forth. Personally, I tend to slam a little bit, and I really need to work on gliding my PCI as well. See, and on that one, for example, I slammed a little bit, but I know I slammed, and now I need to make an adjustment to glide to the ball a little bit better. Yes. There we go. Please get out. Boom. We'll be seeing ya. In previous MLBs, being earlier has always been better than being late. So it's better to swing at the correct time, even if our PCI might not be there yet. It's a hard concept to grasp, but swing at the pitch regardless of where your PCI is if you're going to swing, so that we can try and have the best swing result regardless of PCI placement. Okay, now we spent some time hitting the fastball. We spent some time hitting the slider. Now we might want to try and differentiate between the two pitches at the same time and have them anywhere in the zone. So now I'm going to fill up the entire strike zone with pitch locations, and I'm going to increase the frequency for four seam and slider. Now it's becoming more of a guessing game on what's going to be thrown and where it's going to be thrown at. With DeGrom, it's especially hard because his slider is above 90 miles an hour and his fastball is 100, 101, 102. Against DeGrom, it's important to assume it's going to be a fastball, see fastball out of the hand, and adjust slider. You may miss some sliders more often than not, but you never want to be behind that fastball. Boom, just like that. After a few fastballs and a few sliders, you might be able to start to pick up the difference out of the hand from him specifically. And it goes like this for a lot of different pitchers. There was no door there. Why didn't that go through? Anyway, after so many reps against certain pitchers, you'll see what certain pitches look like coming out of their hands. Another fun thing to check for is with certain players, they have big leg kicks. Mike Trout is one of those players. So, depending on off-speed or fastball, the timing of Mike Trout's foot drop on his leg kick helps you decide what pitch is being thrown. It has to be really subtle with the way you look to kind of figure this out, but as his foot lands, that demonstrates what perfect timing looks like with that player. If a fastball is being thrown, Trout's foot might land a little bit quicker than if it were a slider, and his stride's a little bit slower if a slider's being thrown. Like I said, these are really subtle differences, but any little bit of an edge when trying to hit the ball helps you become a better hitter. If you just want to practice watching pitches thrown outside of the strike zone to kind of check release point and see what these pitches might look like out of the zone, you can have him throw all of his pitches, and you could have him throw different locations all around the zone. And you could just spend time watching pitches, seeing what they look like, and seeing what they look like when you need to lay off of them. If you start to take bits and pieces of all of these things that I'm talking about, you can slowly but surely become a better hitter in this game on all difficulties in any game mode. It doesn't need to take hours upon hours upon hours every single day, but hop into custom practice before going into games. Just hop in for a few minutes, look at some pitches, take some swings, get ready to hit those fastballs up and in, and I promise you, you will start to improve in this game. Last but certainly not least, there are different peripherals that you can add to your controller for your setup that can help with reaction time or PCI movement and things of that nature. Okay, I wanted to list these last because they aren't essential, but they greatly increase your chances to become the best version of yourself in this game. I am not sponsored by any of these companies. I am just looking out for you guys and trying to help you guys become better hitters. For starters, I'm on Xbox and I have Control Freaks for the Xbox controller. I've got the mid-rise on my left stick, which is my PCI movement. And then on my right stick, I have the high rise on my right stick. That's for pitching, not so much with hitting. But this Control Freak right here helps me have more efficient, gentler movements with the PCI with my thumb, and it helps me control it a little bit better. And on top of that, they're like $12 on Amazon. Okay, quick purchase, save up a couple bucks if you need it. Buy some Control Freaks, they'll definitely improve your game. Next, a 1 millisecond response time monitor that allows for 120 hertz gameplay. Recently, in last year's game, MLB got upgraded to 120 hertz capabilities. This allows for more efficient, quicker responses and just an overall smoother gameplay within the game, within the system. Okay? That coupled with Control Freaks and a monitor with the lowest possible input time helps you have the quickest possible reaction, and it helps the game react to the buttons you're pressing as soon as you press it. That's all I have for you guys today. Make sure to check out my settings video and future videos that I release. I look forward to helping you guys in the future, and I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section below. Peace!